The dimly lit living room is silent except for the rhythmic hum of the old grandfather clock. My two boys sit huddled together on the faded sofa, their tear-streaked faces illuminated by the flickering light of my mother's ancient lamp. A brass base, an oversized chintzy sage green shade. I hate that lamp. Next to them, my mother sits slumped in the matching armchair. Her frail frame looks impossibly small, her silver hair hanging loose over her shoulders. She never wears it like that. A thick patchwork blanket is wrapped around her body, it's the one I made when I was 13. It has always sat draped over the back of that chair, undisturbed. But now, she grips it tightly, pulling it close like a shield. Silent sobs tremble through the air. Something is wrong. I glance around the room, my chest tightening. Why do they look so scared? Why aren't the boys in bed? How did we even get here? The air feels thick, heavy. I try to remember what I was doing before this moment, but my thoughts scatter like dust. A door slams beside me. I flinch, stepping aside instinctively as my father walks past without so much as a glance. He kneels in front of the boys, speaking softly. I strain to hear him, but the words slip away before they reach me. Luke, my eldest, stares blankly at him, his lip trembling. His little brother clings to him, shaking his head. My father keeps talking, his face drawn, his voice low and urgent. I step forward, at least, I try to, but my feet won't move. My body feels disconnected, like I'm floating just out of reach of the moment. A creeping unease curls around me. Outside, the darkness presses against the window, broken only by flashing blue and red lights. Police. My breath catches in my throat. I snap back to my family, searching their faces for answers, for reassurance. My mother reaches for a handkerchief, dabbing at Luke's wet cheeks. He shudders under her touch. The weight of the room is suffocating. I need to break through it. I need to speak. My mouth opens, but no sound comes out. A chill brushes against my skin. My breath fogs in front of me. The room dims, as though the light itself is being swallowed. Then I hear it. Tap. 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 I turn toward the window. The air outside is still, yet the sound continues. Tap. 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 The window is open. The breeze carries the rustling of leaves, whispering warnings I can't quite understand. A thick fog blankets the ground, swirling, shifting. I reach out, but the mist recoils from my touch, pulling away as though afraid of me. I take a step forward. Then another. The tapping grows louder. I move past the garden, beyond my father's neatly trimmed lawn, stepping into the woods that border the property. The trees loom tall, skeletal branches reaching out like gnarled fingers. The fog thickens, curling around my legs, wrapping me in its cold embrace, a sound, soft, almost imperceptible. I turn. A deer stands a few feet away. Small, delicate. Its large eyes meet mine. Then, suddenly, its ears twitch. It stiffens, its gaze darting past me to something behind me. Before I can react, it bolts, vanishing into the mist. I want to turn around, look to see what had startled the animal as a prickle of fear trails down my spine. But I press on, my pulse thrumming in my ears. The tapping continues, rhythmic, insistent. Then? A door. Standing alone in the woods. My bedroom door. I stare, my mind struggling to piece together what I'm seeing. It doesn't make sense. But something inside me whispers, open it. My fingers brush the wood. Cold. Too cold. My breath shudders as I push the door open. The room inside is mine. But it isn't. I turn around, but the woods have gone. I am in my room. I rub my forehead. My bed linens are on the floor, crumpled. The framed photos of my boys lie scattered, their glass faces cracked. The fresh flowers I placed on my dresser this morning are drooping. Then, the door creaks open behind me. I spin around. Layla. My sister. She stares at me. No, past me. Her face contorts, a strangled, choked scream tearing from her lips. Her knees buckle, fingers digging into the doorframe. Horror pools in her wide, unblinking eyes. I try to speak, to reach for her, but I can't move. I can't turn. A force presses against me, pinning me in place. My throat constricts, panic flaring hot in my chest. Layla sobs, shaking her head. I try again to move, to make sense of what she sees. But then, the fog rises. And everything fades to black. I wake to darkness. As my eyes adjust, I focus on the shadows dancing along the walls of Luke's room, their shifting forms creating grotesque shapes taunting me from every corner. His 15-year-old frame beneath the duvet fills his single bed. The crackle of police radios and thumping feet nearby. I look towards his bedroom door, then glance back up at him. Police radios crackle. Heavy footsteps thud against the floor. Luke stirs in his bed, groggy. He rubs his eyes, blinking into the darkness. The noise outside his door grows louder. He swings his legs over the bed, grabs a sweatshirt, and stumbles toward the door. As soon as he cracks it open, a broad figure fills the frame. "Sir, please stay in your room." Luke stiffens. "What?" A panicked voice calls from another room. "Luke? Sam?" Luke pushes against the officer, trying to see. "Where are you?" "They won't let me out of my room," Sam says, his young voice breaking. "Luke, what's going on?" "It's okay bro, stay there." He tries to push past. Luke, at nearly 6 feet, is just a boy stretched, not a man yet. The officer is a wall of muscle, he stands no chance. "Calm down young man." The officer says, "Why, what are you doing here, what's going on?" Blood draining from Luke's face, something was very wrong. "You're not doing your little brother any favors making a scene," the officer said in a lowered voice. "Take a breath son." Luke steps back in defeat, dropping his eyes to the ground. Then, the scream. Luke goes rigid. His face drains of color. "No. No, no, no." The officer tries to grab him before he can move, but Luke is fast, he ducks and is out, running down the corridor. His little brother's cries echo down the hall. I try to see, try to understand what's happening. But I can't. The guttering sputtering from his throat fills me with fear. "No, no, no." He was pulled back into his room by 2 officers. "Luke?" his younger brother screamed. I couldn't see. The men are closing around Luke, blocking my view. I rub my forehead trying to numb the pain. Exhaustion pressing against me like a weight I can't shake as I trudge down the corridor. All I want is to collapse onto my bed, to sink into sleep and let the day slip away. The dim glow from the boys' old nightlight flickers against the wall between their bedrooms, casting strange, elongated shadows. The house is quiet, too quiet. As I reach my bedroom door, something makes me hesitate. A prickle at the back of my neck. A whisper of unease curling in my gut. I retrace my steps, moving to each of my boys' doors in turn, nudging them open an inch, listening. Their steady breaths greet me, soft and rhythmic. I exhale, shaking off the feeling. Just tired. Just my imagination playing tricks on me. I turn back, pushing open my bedroom door. The hinges groan softly in protest. My fingers fumble for the light switch, but after a few failed attempts, I give up. A car passes outside, its headlights slicing through the darkness for a brief second. I move forward, the floorboards creaking beneath my feet. Another car passes. A shadow shifts. My breath catches in my throat as I see it. Near the window. A dark silhouette standing perfectly still. My pulse slams against my ribs. The light fades again, plunging the room back into blackness. My throat tightens, I can hardly inhale, my body disconnected from my screaming mind telling me to move. The figure peels away from the window, stepping forward. My stomach drops. He is inside. The realization crashes into me like ice water down my spine. He isn't an illusion, isn't some trick of the light. He is here. In my room. I step backward, my breath coming in short, sharp gasps, my hands clawing at the door behind me. I need to get out. Now. My fingers scrape against the wood, searching desperately for the handle. The figure moves again. Another brief flash of light from the road outside, and I see him clearer now. The shadowed angles of his face, his eyes locked onto me. My skin prickles with a cold, crawling terror. My hand finally finds the doorknob, and I grasp it tightly, twisting hard. The door barely moves before he lunges. A hand clamps around my wrist, fingers digging in with a crushing grip. A gasp wrenches from my throat as he yanks me back into the room. The door slams shut behind me, the sound ringing out like a gunshot. My scream is smothered as his other hand, hot and clammy, covers my mouth. I struggle, twisting, pushing, trying to break free. But he is relentless, his grip unyielding. My heart races, my mind screaming for a way out. Then, another flash of headlights. And for the briefest moment, I see his face. Recognition flickers. Then he hesitates, just for a split second, glancing toward the window. I seize the moment. Summoning every ounce of strength, I wrench free from his grasp, stumbling toward the door. My fingers brush the handle, but before I can pull it open, his arms lock around my waist. I am lifted off the floor, weightless, helpless. Then I am falling. Pain explodes as my head hits the edge of my wooded headboard. Dazed now, I feel myself being pulled down. I can't see, but claw at the air until I find purchase. A sudden force grips me, pressing against my throat. Then, cold, biting into my skin. My free hand flies up, desperate to tear it away. Spots dance in my vision. The world tilts, distorts. I try to scream, but only a strangled gurgle escapes. My pulse hammers in my skull, a frantic, desperate drumbeat. Then? A sudden impact. A wave of dizziness. Darkness crashes over me. The world tilting sideways. We are both seated on wooden chairs facing each other in a sparsely decorated room. His head hung low. Moonlight filters through two large windows, casting a soft glow on the bare walls. The air hangs heavy as he speaks. You can't unsee what you see, it's been years, and I will never get that image out of my mind. I saw it all 24 years later, and I can close my eyes and see it again. She has been in my nightmares for years. His voice wavered slightly as he delved into the recesses of his memories. I sat opposite him, studying his face. Mid-40s, maybe. Fair hair, cut short, almost military in style. Stubble on his chin. Who is this man? He looked familiar. Mum was so beautiful. He sighed. She had us so young that she still had the energy of a teenager. She had recently divorced my dad, Ted, after 15 volatile years of marriage. He was an alcoholic, and to be honest, I was glad when he left. He would come home and take his anger out on Mum. Her life was a struggle with him around. He took her money, wouldn't let her drive, questioned her every move. Even as a kid, I knew what he was doing was wrong. I wanted to protect Mum, but he would push me away. Then Mum would step between us, and he'd hit her harder. He swallows hard, then continues. After he was gone, life got better quickly. His voice softens. It was like every single man in a 5-mile radius wanted to save her. They'd help her fix things around the house, give her lifts. I didn't mind. We were her boys, so by default, they also tried to win us over. Lee, from the local bakery, was tall and skinny. He looked like those sticky men you throw at the wall and watch slowly fall down. He gave us extra buns. Ian, the neighbor, mowed our lawns. Mum would make him lemonade, and he'd suggest teaching us how to mow those perfectly straight lines. We didn't like him. The way he looked at us. Creep. Coach Joe was different. He picked us up for football practice, dropped us home late if training ran over. He was cool. His wife had died a few years before. Sam and I agreed we liked him best. Mum wasn't interested, though. She said he was still in love with his wife, and she wasn't going to compete with a dead woman. I didn't get it then, but I think I understand now. He exhales, his expression darkening. That night, Joe dropped us off. He joked about the house being dark. We told him Mum was at her new job, working at the supermarket. He said she needed to leave some jobs for other people. He offered to wait with us, but we didn't want him there. We just wanted to play games. Mum always left food in the fridge for us. If we didn't like what was there, the freezer was full of options. She bulk cooked everything. A small, fleeting smile crosses his lips before his face drops again. I don't want to talk more about that night. He lowers his head. I shift, sliding from my chair to the floor, sitting closer to him. His features look so much like my brother's. But older? Fairer. We moved into our grandparents' house that night. He says finally. I never stepped foot in that house again, well, until today. He pauses and looks up, glancing towards the window. Grandpa made sure the entire content of our bedrooms was moved into his house. Sam was scared to be alone, so we shared a room for years. One side covered in Pokémon. The other plastered with music posters and half-naked girls. A short laugh escapes, fading quickly as he shakes his head. Grandma May would tut every time she walked in. One time, I accidentally ripped a corner off a poster. When I got home, it had been carefully taped back together. I knew it wasn't Grandpa. His face darkens again. Those first terrifying nights, Sam would sleep in my bed. He'd wake, bolt upright, mouth wide open, but no sound would come out. Grandpa would sit outside our room, an old guard in his armchair, watching over us. A few weeks after Mum's funeral, we were back at school. Back at football practice. Everyone tried to act normal. They stepped carefully around us, pretending things were okay. He stands suddenly, walking to the wall where the photo frames hang. His fingers brush over one. I rise too and stand beside him. It's a picture of a young man. A wide grin, blue football jersey, white shorts. Luke? My Luke. Grass stains on his knees. His hair tousled. I glance at the man's hands, seeing the small scar on his forefinger. Luke got that scar when he was 7, he almost cut his finger off trying to chop down a tree in the garden. He and his friends wanted it gone to have more space for football. His hand drops to his side. They originally thought it was Dad, he says. But his girlfriend swore he was with her that night. I told the police he probably beat her into saying that, but they didn't listen. In the early days, they pulled me out of school to interrogate me. They'd heard about stupid stuff I'd done, teenage nonsense. I was a hot-headed kid. I argued with Mum sometimes. I was honest about it. Told them about the last fight we had. Why shouldn't I? It was the truth. I had nothing to hide. Then Grandpa found out. He was furious. Said enough was enough. Told the police to leave us alone. They did. But it was like they stopped looking. He exhales sharply. We grew up. Sam has a family now. 2 little girls, full of life. They have Mum's eyes. He's so protective of them. His voice wavers. Oh Luke. My baby. I reach for him, but I can feel myself being pulled back. I fight to stay. We stayed close to some of Mum's friends. He murmurs. Mostly Joe. Even after we left school, he kept in touch. For years, we heard nothing. Grandpa died of a heart attack when I was 18. I moved back to help Sam with Grandma. Joe was still around. He and Aunt Layla had an affair as soon as she divorced. They got married, didn't even wait for the ink to dry. When I turned 23, the police came asking for a DNA sample. My pulse quickens. A detective was looking at cold cases. I recognized him. He was a year ahead of me in school. We'd spoken before. He told me about another case. The assault was eerily similar to Mum's. A guy named Jimmy had been staying with a friend in an apartment complex. His friend lived on the third floor. The woman he attacked lived on the ground floor. He'd died a year before, but they had his DNA. I thought, finally. This was it. This would solve everything. But it wasn't him. Back to square one. His jaw clenches. Then Joe got into a fight. Over Aunt Layla. The guy ended up in the hospital. When they took Joe's prints, they ran them. His breath shudders. And there it was. The match. After all these years. He looked me in the eyes and said, "You two were dating. That you invited him in. That things got carried away." His voice breaks. "Yeah, right. Like you'd want to play those types of games with him." I lift my hand, touching my throat. My fingers find the two thin indentations. His shoulders shake. Today was the last day of the trial. He pleaded guilty, Mom. His breath hitches. I wanted to shout at him, "Why did you take my mom?" Rip him apart, just like, his voice trembles. Just like. He turns and leans against the wall. He'll spend the rest of his life rotting in jail. I look at my son, a broken man in front of me. I've held on to you for so long. But I need to move on now. Tears spill down his face. My beautiful boy. I reach for him, cupping his cheek. His eyes close. His hand lifts to touch the spot where my fingers are. Oh my boy, my beautiful boy. I watch as my hand fades and whisper. I love you. Mom,